said this was a beautiful world once, but for the wars and mistakes we made, the land began to die as darkness descended over us. As the world fell to pieces, we strove to find a way out. But no matter what we tried, nothing worked. It all came apart. We lost hope, while the worst among us tore at each other. I lost hope. I thought back to the stories Grandma told me of the shining continent, a glorious land full of light, a realm from a better time and for better people. We were so far from the shining continent, we could not even see it. Yet, in our world, the faint, invisible hope of the shining continent was all that remained. But then I saw it, streaking across the sky, a great light, a star so bright no man had ever seen. I climbed after it as it raced across the heavens, piercing the night. The star lit up the waters beneath, and what lay below caught my eye, our great graveyard of bridges. My people were builders. We had made many bridges. We built bravely, with great strength, with the finest materials, each one an attempt to save ourselves and cross over from our dark and dying world into the shining continent. But still, no bridge had ever made it across, for we were separated by a sea filled with death, its waters awash with swordfish spirits since time immemorial. Led by their leader, Kodak, the spirits plundered and pillaged us of hope. This familiar carnage was all we ever knew. There wasn't any hope anymore. I hurled that hammer into the sea with all that I had and left. But suddenly, there was a bright light behind me. A person was holding it as he came down to us. We had never seen such a thing. We had never seen such a light. How the world did not look as it did where he walked. As he helped me up, my heart leapt with hope. I believed there was something special about this man of light, Hama. Our world had long suffered because of our darkness, but Hama had a special way of making things better. We couldn't explain it. In our grey world, no one had ever turned darkness into light. But Hama could. He transformed whatever he touched. Because of him, we dared to hope once again. After all, we had seen the things he could do. We were already awestruck by his power, so imagine what we thought at what Hama did next. There was light, a bridge built in the blink of an eye. For a moment, no one knew what to say or do. I suppose all that was left to do was to believe in this stranger. Because for the first time, someone great was looking out for us. Someone was going to save us, and we were set on following him. With great joy, we began to cross the bridge. We were halfway across in ecstasy when we realized that we had all but forgotten what lurked in those waters. A score of spirits rose out of the water. I was rooted, paralyzed by fear. But just then, I felt a familiar hand and a warm comfort. It was Hama, his cloak. Before I could say a word, Hama rose up against Thir.st and his mighty host and went into the water. Thir.st and the others gave chase immediately, diving headlong into the sea. But we could only see darkness in the depths. All was quiet, and the silence seemed to last forever. It seemed that Thir.st had won. Then we felt it beneath our feet, a great thundering. The sea shook as great radiant waves danced beneath the waves, racing to the surface. Light burst forth from the waters, piercing cloud and sky. The fog broke. That was the first time we saw the shining continent, which lay just ahead of us. The light went on, all around our world, in a way we couldn't understand. But what we did know was that Hama had won the battle. So we stood up and crossed the bridge of pure light. Because of Hama, we could step onto the shores of the shining continent. It became our home, as Hama became our king.